Ananta Krishna Prabhu, ich habe soeben erfahren, dass der außerhalb wohnt, das wusste ich nicht. Und der wird schon, Entschuldigung bitte, das war mir nicht bekannt. Ja, nur
ich bin nicht so gut, okay. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabi Hare Jaya Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabi Hare Gopi Janavallabha Girivara Gopi Janavallabha Girivara Yashoda Nandana Raja Jananandana Yashoda Nandana Raja Jananandana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Punjabi Hare Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivara Dhari Yashoda Nandana Raja Janarandana Yashoda Nandana Raja Janarandana Yashoda Nandana Raja Janarandana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Srila Prabhupada ki jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai Shri Shri Prahlad Lakshmi Singadeva ki jai Shri Shri Radha Madan Mohana ki jai Shri Brahmotsava ki jai Shri Brahmotsava Utsava ki jai Gour Premanande So, ja, ich habe ein elektronisches. Om Jnana-timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yukta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavangscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitangscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin iti namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani pracharine nirvishesha shunyavadi paschatya deshatarine vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavevo namo namaha. Hey Krishna, Karuna Sindhu, Dinabandho Jagat Prat, Gopesha Gopika Kanta, Radha Kanta Namostute, Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi, Radhe Vrindavaneshwari, Rishabhanu Sute Devi, Pranamami Hari Priye. Prahlada Vridayaladam, Bhakta Vidyavidaranam, Sharadinduruchim Vande Parindra Varanam Harim, Vagisha Yasya Varane, Lakshmim Yasya Chavakshasi, Yasya Ste Hridaye Samvit, Tam Nrsingham Aham Bhaje. Ugram Viramaha Vishnum, Jvalantam Sarvatomukham, Nrsingham Vishanam Badram, Mrityam Namam Yaham. Sri Nrsingadeva Ki Jai. So, in this discussion, on the occasion of the 40th Brahmotsava festival, the we can say birthday celebration of Lord Nrsingadev, I would like to begin by reading from Srimad Bhagavatam. And first I have to find the verse which is known by some of you. I think this is the verse. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Deving Sarasvating Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet Nashtaprayeshvabhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Naishtiki Bhakti. This is something we are all aspiring for. It comes from the word Nishta, which is a combination of sta, which means to stand, and ni, which means down. And it comes to mean what Srila Prabhupada would often refer to as being fixed in Krishna consciousness. So this is the aim which is offered. Nashta prayeshvabhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavatyuttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. It's a hopeful statement. It is a reassurance that if we hear from Srimad Bhagavatam, this is a result of this hearing of Srimad Bhagavatam. So I thought on this day it would be appropriate to refer to one of the famous prayers of Prahlad Maharaj, because I always like to feel that the hero of the story of Lord Nrsingadev's appearance is Prahlad. And we are especially inspired seeing Nrsingadev. And in particular, though, here in Singhachalam, we're inspired to see Nrsingadev with Prahlad on his lap. There was a question that came up before installation of Prahlad Nrsingadev, whether it was proper or not proper that Prahlad would sit on the left leg of Nrsingadev. Yeah. What would be a problem? Well, according to Shastra, the proper iconography would be that the left knee is for Lakshmi. Lakshmi sits on the left knee. So what is Prahlad doing sitting on the left knee? So there was quite some concern about this, you remember? And I was somewhat concerned. I thought, well, let's see what we can find out from some authorities in India. So after the deity of Nrsingadev arrived here, and that story I think is told in quite some detail in this book, the memories are there. Nrsingadev arrived sooner than anyone expected. One day, there he was, in a big wooden box, sort of like, you called for me, here I am, so, and we had to sort of say, well, we're happy you're here, but your temple is not ready yet. This building was under construction at the time. What shall we do? Well, we put him in a temporary place, and we started making ornaments and dress for him, and so on. And at one point, I was asked to sort of oversee the worship of Nrsingadev, and I thought, well, that's very wonderful, but I have no clue. How would one imagine you're put as to oversee the worship of Nrsingadev here at Singhachalam. They say, okay, you're in charge now. And you sort of, right, okay. So I thought, well, I better go find out something. So I went to India, went to South India, visited several temples. I didn't get the systematic training that our Gour Keshava Prabhu, Gour Keshava Bhattacharya, yeah, he's a Bhattacharya, officially, yes. Yes, you can call him Bhattacharya ji.
Temple priest, so can be called Bhattacharya, but temple priest.
Okay. In any case, I didn't have this systematic training. I had a more touch and go sort of learning process. But one of the first stops I made, and this is getting to the point about Prahlad with Nrsingadev, I made a stop in Hyderabad. I had learned and was able to, I had learned that Sampath Bhattacharya was residing in Hyderabad. And I knew that Sampath Bhattacharya had presided at the installation of Shri Radha Madan Mohan, I believe it's the name of the deities, in Hyderabad. That Srila Prabhupada had, you can say, commissioned Sampath Bhattacharya and his team to do the installation. And they did the full thing. And so I wanted to meet him, and I found out where he lives, and I went and I met him, and he was very, very welcoming, very kind, and he spoke some English. And I remember when I mentioned to him my mission, that I'm learning about worship of Nrsingadev, he immediately started quoting verse after verse after verse after verse after verse of Bhagavatam from memory. You know, it was just kantastha. It was in his. He knew the whole. He knew the story, not just as we might know it, but he knew also the Bhagavatam, the verses. So he was very happy, and then. He showed me the letter that he received from Srila Prabhupada thanking him for performing this installation. He was very proud of this letter.
Framed it and put it on his wall?
Yeah.
It's in the database.
It's in the database.
I think.
Yeah. And then I dared to take out a photo of our Nrsingadev. This was before he was installed. And I showed it to him and I said, Sir, can you please tell me, there is some doubt about this form we want to install Nrsingadev. Is this a problem that Prahlad is on the Lord's left knee? And I sort of nervously waited while he looked at the photo. And he looked and he turned his head and he said, interesting, he said. Interesting. And I asked, is it a problem? You know. And he said, interesting, but not a problem. So, yeah. So we especially here at Singhachalam, we worship Nrsingadev in his most peaceful form. He is most peaceful with Prahlad on his lap. And I always thought, parents, sometimes they'll put their child on one knee and sometimes on the other knee. So, and maybe sometimes the wife is also on the one knee or the other knee. So it doesn't have to be one or the other. So I like this unusualness of our Prahlad Nrsingadev. And in any case, the point is that Prahlad is with Nrsingadev on his lap. Nrsingadev is very peaceful. We celebrate, we worship Nrsingadev in his very Shanti form, actually. He's Shanti, but you notice he smiles a little, and in his smile you notice there's some teeth. He just reminds, I have teeth also. Yeah, for the demons. So I thought it's good if we begin this discussion with a famous verse from a prayer by Prahlad, and which very much shows the mood of Prahlad Maharaj. He says, Naivod vijay paraduratyaya vaitaranyas Tvadvirya kayana mahamritam magna chitta shoche tato vimukachetasa indriyartha maya sukaya varam udvahato vimudhan. He says, O best of the great personalities, I am not at all afraid of material existence. For wherever I stay, I'm fully absorbed in thoughts of your glories and activities. My concern is only for the fools and rascals, Prabhupada's favorite expression about those who do not surrender to Krishna. The fools and rascals who are making elaborate plans for material happiness and maintaining their families, societies, and countries. I am simply concerned with love for them. So, of course, this prayer of Prahlad is a kind of declaration of his mood of compassion. I'm not concerned for myself. I'm fine. I have no problems. Why do I have no problems? Because I'm always absorbed in thoughts of your glories, of the Lord's glories. But I do have a concern. I don't have a problem for myself, but I have a problem regarding others. Who are these others? As Prabhupada translates, the fools and rascals who are finding pleasure, sukha, in illusion, maya sukha. And of course, this is also a concern which we learn from our acharyas, from our teachers, that this is what we are aspiring for, a feeling of concern. There's an expression which I've recently come across called compassion fatigue. Have you heard of this? Compassion fatigue. You feel sadness at some misfortune that you hear about. You feel compassion perhaps for people who are suffering for some time. But then you keep hearing again and again and again and again about people suffering. And after a while, you kind of turn it off. I can't...
Become numb.
You become... Yes. You become numb. Indeed. Numb, you know this word numb, N-U-M-B, means the opposite of sensitive. Exactly. Desensitized. You took the words right out of my mouth. No. Numb or desensitized. We become desensitized. So Prahlad Maharaj, today I would suggest one kind of prayer we may have as we're praying to Nrsingadev. Please protect me, please protect us, please protect. Naturally this feeling is there. But also, oh Prahlad Maharaj, please keep me sensitized. Don't let me become more sensitized to the suffering of others, and let me also do something about it, not just to think, oh, how compassionate I am. So that's my humble suggestion. I don't want to ramble on because we have two wonderful speakers to hear from. One more point I wanted to just share. This is now part of the reminiscing, if you like. Now we go into nostalgia mode, and because, as was announced, and if you haven't noticed, please later when you have darshan, do have a look at Chota Prahlad Nrsinga, who is on the sort of front left. He continues to be very nicely worshipped in Zagreb by Shimanta Prabhu. Are you here? He's somewhere. Oh, there you are. Hare Krishna. So I wanted to tell a little bit about this deity because he's actually the reason that Boro Nrsimha, Prahlad Nrsimha, is here. So I was in Shridham Mayapur as assistant to Hare Swami at the time. This would have been 1979, I believe, around Gour Purnima. Must have been around Gour Purnima. And I was together with him in his room in the Conch building. We were, I don't know, on the second, third floor, and he had his room there. I was there in the room, and I have to confess, I don't remember the name of the devotee, but one devotee came and knocked on the door and came in, and he said, "Maharaj, I want to give you this gift. I want to give you this deity." And it was little Prahlad Nrsimha, so Hare Swami graciously received the gift, and after some time, and this devotee who gave, after some time he left, he was very much thanked, and then he turned to me and he said, "Well, Nrsimhadev has come, I guess we should worship him." So I was the, we say in English, the sidekick. You say in Australia, sidekick?
Yeah.
I was the assistant, so this became part of my service.
Wingman.
Huh?
Wingman might be better.
Wingman.
Wingman.
Wingman. I never heard that before. Wingman. Okay.
On the side.
Yeah. Sidekick. Yeah. So anyway, I was the assistant, so that meant it was it became part of my service to do the worship. And at some point, the white book appeared. The Archana Paditi. And we got a copy, and Maharaj said to me at that time, "I think you should start worshipping following this book." And so I started doing that. For me, it was like a recipe book. I had it out, and okay, step one, okay, step two, but you had to keep turning the pages back and forth to get the mantras. Yeah. Anyway, the point is, at one point then, when the farm was found by this Swami, then the question became, who are we going to worship? And we were informed this farm is very close to the Iron Curtain. Jai Shri Shri Prahlad Lakshmi Nrsimhadev Ki Jai. Yeah, so the logical conclusion at that time was we need protection, we need to have Nrsimhadev, and Prahlad Nrsimha, as we had been carrying with us, traveling with, and worshipping, we understood he was just kind of smiling and saying, well, it's obvious. You just have myself installed in a bit larger form. And so this is how the idea came for Nrsimhadev to come. And as they say, the rest is history. And the history is going on. And I think this is the other thing we want to reflect on today, is that it's an ongoing history. It's not something past. We're not celebrating 40 years of Nrsimhadev and sort of, well, now it's over. Now we go on to something else. No, it's ongoing. And we're all fortunate that we can be part of this history. We are making history. My dear devotees, did you know You didn't know? You are making history. Silence. So how is that history going to go into the future? We look at the past 40 years. How is it now turning from today? How is our own personal history being made? Today is the first day of the rest of your life. That's something to think about. I'll leave you with these thoughts, and thank you very much. And now I look forward, I think you also look forward to hearing from His Holiness Sacinandana and Swami Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Krishna Chaitanya Maharaj. I would like to speak about 2 points today and request you all to join me. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Niveshesha Shonyavari Bhaskatyare Sadarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gauranga Jaina Singha Srina Singha Jaya Jaya Nisingha Dev Jaina Singha Srina Singha Jaya Jaya Nisingha Dev Jaina Singha Srina Singha Jaya Jaya Nisingha Dev Jaya Singha Srina Singha Jaya Jaya Nisingha Dev Srina Singha Jaya Singha Jaya Jaya Nisingha Dev Jaya Singha Jaya Jaya Nisingha Dev Paladesha Jaya Padma Mukha Padma Vringa Paladesha Jaya Padma Mukha Padma Vringa Paladesha Jaya Padma Mukha Padma Vringa Paladesha Jaya Padma Mukha Padma Vringa. The Nrsimha Purva Tapani Upanishad informs us that there was trouble in the universe, and the Devatas, the celestial beings, felt troubled not only by the external situation. There was some conflict with the Asuras brewing, but there was also something else. They were a little introspective and understood we are not just in trouble from external enemies, we are also in trouble from from ourselves, from internal enemies. I remember once Srila Prabhupada was asked, what is the greatest enemy of the devotee? And Srila Prabhupada immediately said, he himself is his greatest enemy because he is still attached to nonsense. He himself is his greatest enemy. So the enemy is not only outside, the enemy is within. The enemy is us, so to say. So the devatas, the celestial beings, understood this problem. And they began to feel afraid of death, of the material existence per se, but also of sins and their reactions, their karmic reactions. So they asked Brahma, the creator of the universe, please, this is a universe where there is trouble brewing. There's trouble from the environment, there's trouble from death, our own bodies are decaying, and there's trouble from ourselves who do things which are harmful for us and bring sinful reactions. Can you please tell us something so that we can become free from these three kinds of troubles? We have heard that these troubles are adhyatmic, adibhotic, and adidevic. You know, they are coming from our own misguided selves. They come from other beings with whom we are surrounded, and they come also from external influences, like floods, and what else is there? We had the driest summer here in Europe. Did you see in Germany that everything turned brown? It was so hot and so dry. This is adidevic klesha. So, can you tell us something that helps us to become free from this? And Brahma at once had an answer. He said, there is one mantra. It is called the Narasingha Anustup mantra, by which you can conquer all these fears. And then he instructed them in the mantra. And I would like to give you this mantra. I have brought my little music box here for emphasis. The mantra starts with Om. You please repeat. I will go first the Om, and then I will go to all the other four parts. It has 5 parts altogether. The Om is the first, and then 4 other parts, and you please repeat. It will help you to become free from all fears, not just now. It is something to take along, and I will tell you where you can obtain this mantra. Om. Please say. Om. Ugram virang mahavishnum, Ugram virang mahavishnum, Jvalantam sarvato mukam, Nrsingham vishanam bhatram, Mrityumityam namamyaham, Yam namamyaham. Om. To the fierce, that's the translation, to the fierce Ugram, to the brave Viram, Lord Mahavishnu, Mahavishnum, to the all-illuminated one, Jvalantam, to he who is omnipresent, Savato Mukham, to Lord Narasingha, who is terrible to look at, Bhishanam, yet so gentle, Badram, to the death of death personified, Mrityu Mrityum, I offer my obeisances. Please repeat after me. Namamyaham. Yes. Therefore, those who are afraid of death, who are afraid of the karmic reactions to the harmful activities they did in the past, or those who are generally afraid of material existence, they should take shelter in this mantra. Someone who takes shelter in this mantra and who chants this regularly conquers all these types of fears of material existence. My dear devotees, this mantra is not something to be chanted only when you are a visitor to this temple, where eventually in the course of their worship the pujaris will chant it and you will recognize it and you will chant along. No, this mantra should be taken by all of us outside of the temple into our own lives, into our own, if you so want, temple, the temple of our heart, the place where we do our devotional activities. If you can make this a regular function, you will see how your life changes all of a sudden. There is another mantra which is found in the Bhagavatam. You please repeat to me repeat after me. Yes, no, that is not a mantra. This is an expression of well-being. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Tejas Tejase Avirbhava Vrajanaka Vrajadamstra Kamashayan Randaya Tamograsa Grasa Om Svaha Avayam Atmani Bhuyishta Om Shrom. And let us do this 3 times. Om Shrom. Om Shrom. This mantra can be found in the 5th canto, and one of you has a mobile distraction machine with them, mobile telephone. If you can tell me the exact reference. 5:18:8. So those who take notes, please take the note 5:18:8. No? This is a mantra which is from the Bhagavatam. It is also a very powerful mantra to worship Nrsimhadev. My dear devotees, maybe by now you have noticed that Krishna conscious practice is not a walk in the park. That's what they say in England, to something which is very easy and comfortable, a walk in the park. No, on this path you are confronting your own weaknesses, your own attachments at times, your own unwanted things, and we require help to do this. So we always say, when the human being comes to his own limitations, it's time for them to turn to the Almighty One, to look for ashraya or shelter where it can be found. To look for something this world cannot give us, and also not take from us. And when we look for that something which the world is not able to supply us with, we must knock at the door of the Almighty One, the Lord, Lord Nrsingadev. You can find this mantra, this Nrsimha mantra, from the Nrsimha Purva Tapani Upanishad, section 2. You can find it in the new mantra book, which will be released very soon. Those who are nectar hunters have already made it out. It's on the altar at the present moment, where we cannot go, we normal people, but it will come off the altar and will be available in our shop for a modest donation. So you can obtain it, and there you will find this amazing mantra that can help you to become free from all the fears which you might face. It is better than psychotherapy, except for the heavy cases. We have also some of them, but the normal things you can take care of with this mantra. So, yes, this is the first thing. I once wanted to know what is a lion. And together with another exploring Swami, His Holiness Bhaktivigyan Goswami Maharaj, we actually went to a lion park where there were wild, free-roaming lions in good functioning order. They were real lions, not tamed pussycats. We needed to pass through 2 gates. I already knew when our car went through the first gate and the gate closed after us. Okay, I get the point. Then we drove on and we passed through the second gate. In case the wild lions make it through one gate, there is at least the other gate to stop them. So when that closed, I knew we were on our own. And we went through lions, and my first impression was they were absolutely boring. Some of them were sleeping on the top of trees, others were dozing off in lion prides, and I became also overwhelmed by tamagun and decided to disobey the strict orders of the rangers. We were not supposed to put down the windows, because they are not, when they smell food, canned food for them, canned in a car, they become something else. They turn from the mode of Tama to the mode of Rajas. But I was so bored, so I said, Maharaji, just for 1 second, let us see. And I rolled down the window and made this sound. I always have my cartels with me, so...
Dinner bell.
Yes. What?
Dinner bell.
Dinner bell. The dinner bell. What wonderful use of language you have, Keshava. Dinner bell, yes. In aristocratic houses, you will use a dinner bell. So, yes, it was like that. A male and a female left the bride. The male went on our right side, the female on the left, and they began to rock the car. You know, this is how you open a can. You turn it around, and then go to the, you know. And what I saw is something I cannot forget. I saw the awakening of volcanic energy in these animals. They were very peaceful, but all of a sudden something came into their eyes which was so fierce, so absolutely commanding, and it puts you immediately into place. We were all going, ah! in our car. When we looked in the and the energy which built up in their bodies, how they shook our car. So I think it was, I was already paralyzed. Bhakti Vigyan Maharaj had his good sense, and he just told the driver, just now kick, put your foot down on the gas pedal, while they still have not overturned us. And the car went like, and went off, and here we left our death. So yes, the lion is a lion, and therefore he's called the king of animals. Once devotees went in Bhuvaneshwara on the zoo, and one devotee started to make, to agitate a lion in his cage. He went like, and Prabhupada said to him, don't do that. After all, he is a lion. Lion means the king of animals. So the Lord took his head, and the human being is considered to be the top of the hierarchical ladder of the species, so the best combined in Narahari, Lord Nrsimhadev. However, this is my own realization over the years. If you think of Lord Nrsimhadev only as the lion, you are only getting the nails, the fierce aspect. Behind the nails of Lord Nrsimhadev are the very soft palms. And only for the demons, the nails come out, and when he's with the devotee, the nails go back, and his softness is there. The great disciple or student of Ramanujacharya, Kuresha, some of you have heard about him, very dear to Ramanujacharya, wrote a composition where he talked about 6 ways in which the Lord gives mercy. One is Aganita Shreya. He gives unlimited prosperity, as he did in the case of, you have an idea? Dhruva Maharaj. Yes, he gave him a greater territory than even his own father, who was one of the Manus had. The second way, or anyone else, how does the Lord give mercy when he gives, or to whom did he give riches? Sudama, you know everything. The next form in which the Lord gives mercy is a kind of mercy, it's called Agha Shoshanat. It means he takes away the sins, and more important maybe, the sinful propensities. That's the inclination to do sin. That when the Lord is very merciful, He takes this away. Any example where He did it? Ajamil, wow, that's a wonderful example. Yes, to whom He gave the mercy? No, what? Jagai and Madai, wonderful. The example which Kuresha gives, he is before Jagai, Mahaprabhu's incarnation, I believe. Yes, for sure. Is Ahalya. Ahalya had sinned with another man than her husband, and Lord Rama had been cursed to become a stone. Wow, that's a curse, and suffered as a stone. When Lord Rama came by, he decided to give this Aga Shoshanat Kripa, the mercy where he takes away sins and sinful propensities, and he touched that stone. It was a big stone with his lotus feet, and the dust of his lotus feet freed Ahalya. Immediately from the stone, a beautiful lady emerged, Ahalya. The next way in which the Lord gives mercy is called simply Audaryat. It means He shows mercy by being magnanimous or being very compassionate. Any example of a devotee who received this type of mercy of the Lord is oh my God, this English word is very difficult. Yes, magnanimity. Close. You know, this in Deutsch Großzügigkeit, or a type of mercy which you do when your heart flows over with compassion. An example from Krishna Lila, please. To whom showed Krishna mercy which was very compassionate? Akrura? Kubja. Oh yeah, Kubja. The example which Kuresha uses is Draupadi. She was disrobed, and the Lord creatively protected her by supplying unlimited amount of sari material. We are now in the fifth type of mercy. It's called fourth type of mercy. Atarti Nirvatanat. It is a type of mercy where all types of worries are taken away. I think some of you want this mercy because I'm preaching to you and I know what is worrying some of us. This mercy is a very special mercy. All types of worries and distress are taken away. Could you think of an example of someone who received this type of mercy? Yeah. Arjun, yes, he was very worried at the beginning of the battle of Kshetra. Anyone? Any Chitraketu, wonderful. Yes, he was an extremely worried individual, and the Lord sent him. Took care of him. There is another the example Kuresha chooses is Gajendra. He was first of all a cursed being. He was King Indradumna in a past life. He came in the elephant body, and then he went into the water where he was attacked by a crocodile, and they fought for an amount of thousands of years. I forgot the exact number of years. A long time. It was a long struggle, and Gajendra was losing. He was bleeding from the leg where he had been captured, and he knew this struggle ends in death, my own death. the crocodile had gotten the advantage, over him. He was just bleeding out. So then he prayed to the Lord, and the Lord appeared to him. He severed the head of the crocodile with his chakra, and released him also from his curse by bringing him back home, back to Godhead. The fifth type of mercy is Abhayam Pradhan. It means freeing from fears. And the example of this is a famous example from the Ramayana. Do you know? Or do you have a clue? Who comes to mind? Who was freed by Lord Ram from all fear? Sugriva, that's a wonderful example. Our author, Kuresha, uses Bibisan as an example. He was always together with his demoniac brother Ravan. He saw his atrocities. He felt in some way bound. He couldn't leave him. But then finally he surrendered. He came to Ram. He got that courage. It happened. It happened when he was expelled by Ravan, and the devotees around Ram. The devotees around Ram wouldn't accept him. They thought, these demons, they are shapeshifters. They come and they look very pleasant, and then they show their true colors, and he wants to just become close to Ram, and then he will dig his teeth into and so on and so forth. So let him not come close. But Ram said, Sakrit eva prapanoyam. Anyone who surrenders to me, even only once, I'm yours, my Lord, I accept him. So in this way, Bibisan got freed from all fears. Now the sixth type of mercy is called the Vatsalya Kripa. Vatsalya, there is the word Vatsa. It means a calf. Sorry? Calf, the calf. The calf is cared by the mother in many wonderful ways. Have you seen calves being taken care by their cow mothers? Have you seen? What do they famously do? They give a good licking bath. And they protect them against rain, against hail, and so on. And it's interesting, when a parent affectionately calls their child by a name, they will call, oh, Vatsa, Vatsa, come here, come here. The small child is called Shishu. I think our Advaita singer could call his little girl who dances Shishu. It means darling, and Vatsa means a small one, come. It's an affectionate term, and the mercy of Nrsimha is known as this Vatsalya, this very parental type of mercy. Therefore, it is wrong, it is so wrong, my dear devotees, if you only see Lord Nrsimhadev as fierce. He's fierce for the demons, not for you. Don't make Lord Nrsimhadev only your chokidar, the one who takes care of the troubles, your bodyguards, godlike person. No, Lord Nrsimhadev has parental-like affection. He is affectionate through his parental ways. And you will see especially this form of Lord Nrsimhadev, where he unconventionally puts Prahlad. The point I learned so much today from Krishna Kshetra Maharaj is in Brihad Bhagavatamrita we find that the Lord takes him on his lap, but we do not find information on which knee he puts him. So usually he would put Prahlad on his right knee, but here he's just so overwhelming with affection that he doesn't care about these fine rules, and he puts him on the left, and then I think he on the right, and he after all licks also Prahlad Maharaj, gives him a parental shower in some ways. He's very, very affectionate. And you will see, my dear devotees, everyone who has come here and who has passed from numb Krishna consciousness to an alert form of Krishna consciousness, he has seen, or she has seen, that Lord Nrsingadev is extremely active in the life. Extremely active. When you have your little time, your minute with Lord Nrsingadev, I know the festival is like a boiling ocean of attractions, but if you can make that personal time out of the ocean of humanity and step before him and pray, you will see that miracles unfold in your life. You will feel, first of all, accepted by the Lord, the way you are. Just hold his glance for some time, and there will be a feeling of I'm accepted, sabtik, everything is all right, and you will see when you pray to him amazing things happening in your life, unfolding. So yes, so summary, there is this mantra. Do you know the name of the mantra? The first mantra? Nrsimha Anustup mantra? Yes, it is. It is called, our Bhattacharya informs, it is Mantra Raja, really. It's the king of all mantras. You can obtain this mantra from the gift shop. There it is. There the book is available, complete with history of this place. Yes, small donation. If you are so poor that you can't get it, I will give you the Lakshmi, because in this age of Kali, we have no problem with Lakshmi. So you can have from us. You can go to Gaur Krishna, because you might be ashamed to go to me. Gaur Krishna is very compassionate and will not. So you please all get this mantra. It is the king of all mantras. From one perspective, there's also the Mahamantra and other thing, mantra. But this is known, celebrated throughout the universe with kettle drum as the king of all mantras. You can chant, please. You can also go to the Bhagavatam. Who remembers the quotation where it is? 5:18:8. Yes, you know everything. 5:18:8. Just go to the Bhagavatam. If you are very poor, you can, in the shop there is, and you can find this, and you can make a photo of the mantra, all for free. We are not selling mantras. And that's one thing. And the second thing is, let us understand. He has very soft paws. Do you understand the word paws? Yeah, this part, very soft. He's very, there's Vatsalya Kripa in him. Good. Therefore he is also, have you seen? He is just holding Prahlad so gently with one of his hands, no? You can see. Dobro. Good. I thank you very much. Now we will give the microphone to a devotee to whom the German Yatra is extremely grateful. He came at a time when our pujaris, which are now there, Ramananda Gopal on a daily basis, and Amara, and also Antayami Krishna, they were still very young. They were not yet trained in all this. And he came and he gave for 3 days, was it 3 days, isn't it? A successive series of the most amazing pujas which we had ever seen. We were just told, I know, we would not miss one puja. Sometimes they started early. Sometimes we climbed up the roof of this temple, yes, to install something. There's a photo of on a shaky platform, but we were all held up by the energy of Lord Nishingadev. We were floating for 3 days in a really stream of traditional first-class homas, pujas, yagyas, and yavastu ceremonies. Everything was complete there, and we were very grateful. I think the Lord must have smiled on our next speaker. He's Gour Keshava Maharaj, Gour Keshava Bhattacharya. For us as God brothers, we call him our master, our Prabhu. So we will request him to do this. Now I'm a little bit in a Gour Keshava. I think you should sit here because you can be better seen. I think so. Yes, I think so.
Oh, musical chairs.
Yes, a loud voice.
Loud. No, but it's you can see everyone better, and they can see you.
I prefer to stand.
Then you should sit here.
No. Please. I'm taller.
We call this musical chairs. So everybody should chant Hare Krishna, and when it's finished, we all sit down and we stay in one place, right?
Yeah.
Oh, this is nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't get used to this.
And you can see everyone.
I can see everyone.
I think this is actually softer.
No, but this is good. The legs down.
Yeah.
It's more traditional. Yeah. Radha Krishna Samarambam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Madhyamam Bhakti Vedanta Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. I offer my obeisances unto that Guru Parampara that starts with Sri Sri Radha Krishna. In the middle, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and comes up to our beloved spiritual master, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada. So I learned a lot of things. I learned a lot of things from the last 2 speakers. And I feel strange sitting a little higher than Maharaj, but I wanted to just maybe fill in a few technicalities about these things. And I thought that the installation ceremony started with when I came and did it. But actually I can see that it started much earlier. Everything started much earlier. Of course, the deity of Lord of Sri Sri Prahlad Narasimha had come before I came here, and you made all the arrangements for getting the Lord from India and making the paraphernalia and getting the clothes made and bringing so many nice lamps to make it look very authentic and traditional as it is in South India. But there's another thing which I didn't know until yesterday. Yesterday I was acquainted with this idea that there was a small deity of Lord Narasimha here before. So that is actually a very traditional way of doing things. That system is called Balalaya. So when people get the idea to worship the Lord in a particular form, what they first of all do is they want to build a big temple, they want to have a big deity. It can't immediately manifest. So what they do is they get a small deity and a small model of a temple. Sometimes you see this when property developers, when they want to make something, they'll have a showroom while the houses are being built, and they'll show, this is a model house. It's going to be there. Please buy. Like that. So to get people enthused, to get people ecstatic about the Lord's coming, the system in Pancharatra, which is our system of worshipping the Supreme Lord, is to install a small deity in a balalaya. So there's a worship of the deity immediately starts, while the construction of the big temple and while the big deity is being made and brought before he's installed, like that. So I didn't know that you had done that, but that is actually very traditional. So I don't think any temple in ISKCON has done this. So I was amazed to hear this, that there's been the presence of Lord Narasimha here. And again, Maharaj mentioned that there was an idea, you mentioned, I don't know which one of you mentioned, maybe both of you mentioned that there was an idea to situate Lord Narasimha here on the border of several countries. And in fact, on the Iron Curtain was there. It was right? We had communist countries, and there was a lot of preaching going on in communist countries, and Prabhupada was very happy that all the devotees from the West were going there and secretly taking a lot of being daring, and going and preaching in Russia and these places, Eastern Europe.
Years later, we found out it was not at all very secret.
Oh,
The police were watching.
They knew everything.
Recording everything.
Okay. Maybe they didn't understand what a terrible what a terrible philosophy we are preaching. Anyway, so in Shastra, there's we're talking about iconography, and we're talking about different ideas. In Gaudiya Vaishnavism, there's a book called Hari Bhakti Vilas. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked Sanatana Goswami, and later Gopal Bhatta Goswami also helped to put together a book about Vaishnava activities. And that book covers the whole gamut, encompasses every Vaishnava activity, every activity that a Vaishnava will do. So starting with searching for a guru, it's the first activity, right? And taking initiation, which happens very early on in spiritual life, and then worship of the Supreme Lord, chanting of the holy name, all of these different things, dealing with different mantras and different, then activities on a daily basis, like getting up and taking bath and doing, then going to the temple and observing festivals in the temple, daily festivals, then weekly festivals, Ekadasi, bi-weekly festivals, monthly festivals throughout the year, Chaturmasya, different types of things. Finally coming to experiencing making of deities, iconography, building of temples and installing of deities and worship, even reinstalling deities, as we did on the 31st with Mahalakshmi. So all of these things are covered in Hari Bhakti Vilas, as they are in brief, and then in the Pancharatra they're more elaborated. So some of the things about the iconography is I wanted to mention that when we look at different deities, Maharaj was talking about the palms of Lord Narasimha's hands as being paws, very soft paws. If you have a cat, or if you have some other feline type animal, you'll know they're very soft, very soft. People like cats because they're very soft. Like the Narasimha also can be very soft like a cat. He has this feline energy about him. But he also has nails. You said nails like that. But when we talk about deities and we talk about all the deities, we talk about the nails, naka, like that. But when we speak about Lord Narasimha, we have a special word for nails. We say claws. Claws. Nails sounds nice. Claws sounds terrible, horrific. And Maharaj was also talking about the teeth. Sometimes Lord Narasimha has a nice smile, and he shows his teeth a little bit like that. If you look in the, I think Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, it also mentions there's different types of smiling. Sometimes the gopis smile, sometimes different people smile. And there's a type of smiling where you show the teeth, and there's a type of smiling where you don't show the teeth. Here we see this is a type of smiling where he shows the teeth. So all the deities we do mention if there's teeth showing or not showing or this, that, and the other. But with forms of Lord Narasimha, we refer to the teeth as fangs. So not nails, but claws. Not teeth, but fangs. Because he has this dual aspect about him. He has this aspect of compassion and tenderness and the feline qualities. But also Maharaj explained the felines can immediately change their attitude towards you if you're not careful. So we all have to be very careful, right? You have to be careful. Anybody who has a cat, they know you have to be careful. Treat the cat nicely, but if the cat will hiss, the cat will scratch you if you're not careful. So we have to be careful like that. So this idea that Prahlad's sitting on the knee, right? This is a place of Lakshmi. Lakshmi usually sits here on the knee, on the left knee. Actually, when she stands on the right side of the Lord. When she sits on the left knee. Sort of interesting. But Lakshmi can be worshipped in several ways in Pancharatra. She can have a completely separate deity room. You know, sometimes ladies, they want to have a separate room also. They have their own dressing room, their own. So Mahalakshmi is no exception, and she can have completely separate deity form, like in Sri Rangam. Lord Ranganatha has one deity room, and she has separate. This is called Veera Lakshmi. This is called Veera Lakshmi, when there's a separate form of the goddess. When the goddess is in the same room, in the same garbha, we say garbha griha. It is like a womb. It is like the heart. The deity room is the heart of the temple. If we imagine, when we do the Vastu Puja, we imagine the temple is a body. The temple is a body, and there's some bad guy there, and we want to get him out because we want to invite into the heart of the body, we want to invite the soul of the temple, which is the deity. So everything has some meaning, some inner meaning. So there's external meanings, there's internal meanings also. So in this idea of Vastu, we want to remove the Vastu, right? And pacify him, take him out. Like this was one of the first parts of the ceremony. Actually, before that, we went to collect the holy earth and grow the sprouts to see if we had a good festival, right? Yes, remember we went up on the hill? Yes, and worship Bhuvaraha, Lord Varaha with Bhumi Devi. Because if you do anything on the earth, you have to also pray to the Lord's other consort, Bhumi Devi, the goddess of the earth. Because she's the goddess of wealth and the goddess of the earth. They had different, they have different attitudes. Bhumi Devi is there; she's sitting in one place. Lakshmi is always going here and there. So if Lakshmi is supposed to be there and Prahlad is not there, then is there a problem? Where is Lakshmi then? Who knows? Where's Lakshmi? There's another way to worship Lakshmi. Yes, you know.
You said it's on the right side of the chest.
No, you're giving away the answer. Okay. You asked me. Yes. Okay. So it's okay. It's all right. Very good. You remember from yesterday. Okay. So we were discussing this yesterday with some people. All right. So there's a third way. Lakshmi can be in a separate deity room. She can be sitting next to the Lord, either sitting on his left knee, if he's sitting, or standing next to him on his right side, our left side. Or she can be somewhat unmanifest as the Srivatsa. Srivatsa. On the right side of the chest, we say Dakshinastonorde, on the right side of the chest, Srivatsaya Namaha. The Srivatsa is there. Srivatsa is a mole or a curl of golden hair there, which represents the goddess of fortune, Mahalakshmi. So if you look, when you get the chance, after being initiated properly, you can get the chance to go inside and go very close to the Lord. You can see on the right side of his chest there's the mark of Mahalakshmi is there. The mark of Mahalakshmi is there. So for those persons who are worried, oh, Prahlad is sitting, there's no place for Lakshmi. No, he's sitting there, but Lakshmi is there. And she has her place on the right. And it's only fitting that he should be on that side, right? Because she is on the other side. She is on the other side. If he was on the left side here, then, which is his right side, then there would be some too much closeness for Lakshmi, and maybe we wouldn't be able to see Lakshmi. So it's only fitting. The way the deity is made is only fitting like that. Yeah, so there's no problem like that. As Swamiji said, so one of my teachers of Pancharatra, as recommended by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada, who recommended at the Hyderabad installation, I think it was in 76, in the Janmashtami of 76, you can look up these things in the database. They're all confirmable. That Srila Prabhupada told the devotees there, he very much liked that letter he wrote to Sampath Kumar, said, I very much liked all of the ceremonies, all of the yagyas, all of the pujas were very neat and clean and very nice, like that. And then Prabhupada added, but the real sacrifice for this age is the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Always Prabhupada always never misses a chance to put that in there, which is only fitting. And you can see the pictures of the devotees with the members of Sampath Kumar Bhattacharya's group, right, which I traveled with extensively when I was learning. They had to teach me from the bhakta level. I didn't even know how to go to the bathroom properly without a turban. You're going to go without a turban to the bathroom. No, you cannot do that. So I was taught from the very beginning, this, oh no, left, no, right, everything clockwise, everything like that. Oh, you are right with your left hand. Oh, it's unfortunate, but anyway. So many things like that. So from the very Bhakta class, so Srila Prabhupada had told then Yasodanandan Swami and Pradyumna, there were some people who were leaders in our movement who were told at that time, yes, our this is very nice. This is much better than the installation of the Krishna Balaram temple. If you read in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Prabhupada says, yes, I didn't really like the way that the Krishna Balaram temple was opened because they got local Vrindavan Pandits who were not so devotional. And Prabhupada said, but anyway, the deity was installed by the kirtan, and the Lord came because of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And similarly here also, I have to thank everybody because I played a very small part, and everybody came and chanted the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And this is the real way in this age that we call for the Lord to come, right? Prabhupada says, like crying of the baby for the mother, isn't it? Right, please come, mother. So, Sampath Kumar Bhattacharya, the late M.R. Sampath Kumar Bhattacharya was an Astana Vidvan, which is a term. He was a very, very learned Pandit in Pancharatra, also vice president of All India Pujari or Archakas Union or Association in Karnataka. And he was an expert in Ramayana, and he was the head Pujari of, who has heard of Tirupati Balaji? Tirupati Balaji temple is a Vaikanasa Agama, it's not Pancharatra Agama. But the consort, the Mahalakshmi that is the consort of Balaji is called Padmavati. So Padmavati Devasthanam is in Tiruchenur in Andhra Pradesh. He was the head pujari of Tiruchenur. It's a Pancharatra temple, so he knew everything about Pancharatra. So Prabhupada recommended next time we do this, some of our men, they can learn this and they can join in like that. So I heard this instruction. Previously in Australia, Prabhupada had come, and he wanted to start to introduce some of these things. he said, we have a great culture, we have a Vedic culture, and we can introduce some of these things. He was translating Chaitanya Charitamrita at the time, and in the purport he said, at the installation, when he came to Melbourne to open the new temple in Dank Street, he said, at the installation, it's there in Chaitanya Charitamrita, all the devotees and guests should chant Purusha Shuktam. So I'm like, how are the guests going to learn Purusha Shuktam? But anyhow, and we were all expecting Prabhupada up until the installation, he's going to give us Bhagavatam classes, he's going to say, I'm not going to give class in. He said, I'm not giving any class. What? Then what will we do? If somebody's told you tomorrow Bhagavatam's class is cancelled, then Prabhupada said, from now till the installation, only Purusha Shukta class. Everybody has to learn Purusha Shuktam to chant. So he had brought a tape recording and played it. We had the sheets. We had Bhaj. So he told us all to learn Purusha Shukta. A few of us learned. And that is how he started to introduce bit by bit. He started to introduce Vedic. So I already had this idea when I went to live in India, and Prabhupada had given different people instructions to go to Radharaman and learn from Radharaman. Radharaman also. Radharani is unmanifest, right? You go there, you don't see any Radharani. You see her clothes, you see a crown, but you don't see her. She is also unmanifest, so just like here, Mahalakshmi is also in the Mula Vigraha, in the Dhruva bearer, we say, in the main deity, the stone deity, she is there as the Srivatsa. So that is completely appropriate. Now, I wanted to say something about Brahmotsavam, because I talked about the deity like that, and I've talked extensively about the actual ceremony of the installation. But after installation is the birth of the temple. If we think of the temple as a body, right, the construction is the pregnancy, and the pratishta, the installation, and the starting of the formal starting of the worship of the deity is like the birth of the temple. Is like the birth of the temple. What do we do on the day when we were born? We have a big party, right? That is called a birthday party. So when people say to you, I'm going to Brahmotsavam, what is it, Brahmotsavam? It is Lord Narasimha's birthday party. It is Lord Lakshmi Prahlad Narasimha's birthday party. Like that. So it is the birthday party for this temple. So somebody might say, well, Lord Narasimha appeared at a different time. Yes, you have to celebrate that also. That is his traditional birthday, and you have to celebrate that also. So Narasimha Jayanti, you have to come here, and you also have to come for Brahmotsavam, because that is the particular birthday of this temple. That is the particular birthday of this temple. And so what do? We try to recharge the temple with spiritual energy. Not that there's no spiritual energy, but sometimes things get, every project needs maintenance, right? So we have to maintain the Lord's temple. We have to maintain the worship of the Lord nicely. So it gives us a good opportunity to continue the maintenance of the Lord and to make everything. Every time there's a Brahmotsavam, we should try to do something nice and make something. We need to give presents to Lord Narasimha, actually. Right? One time I was in Melbourne, and Janmashtami, kurma, kurma, cooking with kurma. Yeah, it's a good friend of mine. Anyway, so they would open the presents at midnight when Krishna Janmashtami. So one time he opened some presents. He had a big box of Cuban cigars, and a big bottle of champagne. Somebody had given. Like that. Okay, it's sort of very strange, like that. Of course, Krishna doesn't, but the thought is there. Right? When we give a gift, it's the thought that counts, right? I was reminded of this when you talked about Kuchela, Sudama Brahman. We also call him Kuchela, like that, because he had only some puffed rice, which was not sufficient to give to Krishna and Rukmini. It was very basic food, right? It wasn't kingly food, right? It wasn't worth giving, but he gave it and they enjoyed it, like that. Anyway.
Smoking a hookah.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so just like and don't think also, if anybody comes and criticizes and says, oh, Prahlad is sitting on the knee or something like that, every temple you go to in India, the first thing that you do when you go in there, somebody will say to you, you know what is the special thing about this temple? Like that. So now, I haven't been to one temple where they say, this is just the same old, ordinary Narasimha temple. So you go in there and say, oh, he has got 32 arms. He has got, his smile is like this, or when you bathe him, the liquid goes blue. Every temple you go to, there will be something. There has to be. And this is called Sthala Puranam. Sthala Puranam means, we know Bhagavad Puranam, and there's many Puranas, but every temple has got a story, and that story has to be written, actually. Should be written down and kept. And that is a traditional history of the temple. I don't know who's doing it. Somebody should do it. Yeah? Okay, good. And that is called Sthala Puranam. Sthala Puranam means the history of the place, the history of the particular place. So just like if you go to Melkote, which is, there are so many Divyadeshams, so many holy places in South India and North India, particularly in Sri Sampradaya, 108 places are very important, out of which 4 are very important. Sri Rangamangala-nidim Karuna-nivasam, Sri Venkatadri-shikaralaya Kala-megam, Sri Hasti-shaila-shikarojvala-parijatam, Sri Namami Shirsha Yadu-shaila-deepam. So this Yadu-shaila, so that's Sri Rangam, Tirupati, Kanchipuram, and Melkote. Melkote is in Karnataka between Bangalore and Mysore, the old capital of Mysore. So that is a hilltop, and there are 2 deities there. There is a deity of Tirunarayana, and it is known as Dakshina Bhadri. So it is like Bhadrakashram in South India. There are some equivalents in South India. Madurai is Mathura, and like this. So it is Dakshina Bhadri, so there is a Tirunarayana deity there. But there's also, up on top of the hill, there is this deity of Yoga Narasimha, like that. And just below the temple, actually there's a secret passageway from the temple into a cave. And they say that cave, Prahlad Maharaj came in the cave. After Lord Narasimha finished killing Hiranyakashipu, he went there, and Prahlad went there and stayed in the cave. There's a lot of other caves also, many people were in different caves. But Prahlad was in that particular cave, and the Lord taught yoga to him in the cave. Melkote. Yes. Melkote, yeah. So, up 365 steps, one step for every day of the year. When I first went there, there was one very small, skinny pujari, and he took us outside in the cave, and he wanted us to go through the secret passage into the temple. But we were too big to do it. But we saw you can go through, and then we saw from the other side, but we didn't actually go through. And I don't know now whether it's open. I think they close it. But if you have some chance to go there, from the temple they may open the door and show you there's the cave. Like that. So very nice.
I have a memory from that temple.
You have a?
Memory.
Memory.
Yes.
You want to tell your memory, Swami?
Oh, it's just very short. I visited there. It was, I guess, part of when I was going around the south to find out what I could. We went to Melkote, and we went up to the temple. And my main memory of this temple is, as I remember, the entry door was all stone, and the entry door was a bit low. And what I remember is getting a bonk on my head as I went in. So Nrsingadev was very merciful in that way.
All right, good. So also we mentioned that a deity sometimes there are different types of deities. There are yoga deities. So this in Melkote, this deity is in Yogasana with a band around his legs. When the yogis, if you sit like this, that we're sitting like this, you'll feel difficulty sitting if you sit for many hours. But if you want to meditate for a long time, you get a band and you put it around your legs, and then You can meditate more easily. It's a thing. So Narasimha has like that. So there he's a yoga deity, Yoga Narasimha. When you have a deity, yoga deities are usually off in the forest and they look a little emaciated and they're practicing tapasya and they're on the top of hills, very difficult to get there, many steps. You have to, in Ahobilam, you have to walk through a waterfall to get to Jwala. There's so many different difficulties to getting to some deities. These are called yoga deities. Then you have deities that are in the middle of big communities, like cities. And naturally, the people all want to take prasad from the deities, so they offer a lot of prasadam to those deities in the cities. Those are called bhoga deities. So we have yoga deities and we have bhoga deities. Then we have dikpal deities. Dikpati Dikpati means the controller of the directions. Dikpal means the protector of the directions. You protect that, just like in war, they'll say, you protect that direction, you protect that direction. They'll post people to guard, right? So the idea of Sri Sri Prahlad Narasimha was to protect from the Warsaw Pact, right? From the Iron Curtain, right? And then what happens is that these Dikpal deities, they have to be on the border with the enemy. So when that country is no longer an enemy, then what happens? Then more deities have to be established on the new border, right? It's what we call NATO expansion, like that. So I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised at all if more deities of Lord Narasimha start appearing, going further and further. I don't know, I hope nobody's listening to this. Maybe they'll figure it's a threat. Further and further towards the east. Yeah. So Prabhupada also was for expansion, right? So NATO expansion. So Narasimha also is an expansion of the Lord, and he is also for expansion. So now we see that the Balalaya, the small Narasimha has gone to Zagreb, yeah? What will happen next in Zagreb? We don't know, right? When the small deity goes, then all of a sudden, after some time, maybe a large deity manifests, a temple manifests. So we have to see. That is not up to us. That is up to the will of the Lord. Am I right? Yes. Okay. So this is the type of deity that was installed originally. Now he is more of a friendly type of deity that is giving us a lot of prasadam, and he's not too worried anymore about the communist threat, right? No. So anyway, I was thinking about all these things, and then coming back to the Brahmotsavam, it is the birthday of the temple. So there is what we call in English a liturgical calendar of the temple. It means that there are throughout the year of the temple, there are different festivals that go on. And in the ancient times, many people, they didn't even know how to read and write. So they could go to the gurus and acharyas and listen, or they could listen to the stories from the scriptures, but they didn't know they weren't very learned. So the festivals of the temple were there to preach to the congregation. So normally in Pancharatra, the idea is that in April, April is actually New Year in India, because the sun moves into Aries, which is the first sign of the zodiac, and therefore they consider April to be just around after Lord Chaitanya's appearance. Then even in Gaudiya Vaishnavism, the day after Lord Chaitanya's appearance, Gour Purnima, that is the first day of the Gaudiya Vaishnava year. So similarly, the first day of the Pancharatric year is in April, in Kshetra. Kshetra Mas it's called. And that is considered to be the beginning of the liturgical calendar. And then the liturgical calendar continues, and it goes all the way to December, January, and this time. So there are different festivals. Brahmotsavam may come at any time, because the temple can be installed, it can be opened at any time for a particular temple. But then there are these series of festivals. And what do these festivals represent? The very first festival is the festival of surrender. The festival that represents when the devotees take initiation, when they surrender at the feet of the Lord. That is called prapatti or sharanagati. Sharanagati, surrender to the Lord. And then the very last festival of the year, that is called Vaikunta Ekadasi, Namalwar Mokshanam, like that. It represents when the devotee at the end of his life goes back to Godhead. So the beginning of our spiritual life is when we surrender to the Lord. The end of our spiritual life is when we go back to Godhead and the Lord embraces us. So every year, these festivals, and there are so many festivals throughout the year. We even have this Hare Panchami type festival in Jagannath Puri where there's a mock fight between Jagannath and Lakshmi. That also goes on in Sri Rangam between. You maybe here also Lakshmi will have some fight with Lord Narasimha. It's a fake fight like that. What is the meaning of these festivals? It is to help us to, in our relationships, because we have, the Lord of course doesn't have fighting with Lakshmi or anything. Radha doesn't fight with Krishna, but they show us these leelas to help us to know how to relate to other people in our lives. So you are illiterate bhakta and you don't know how to get along with your wife. Just look at how the Lord has done it. Look at how Lakshmi and the Lord like this, and you follow his example, and you'll have a wonderful marriage and like this. And at the end of life, you'll go back to Godhead. Yes, yes. So there are all these different festivals and they have different inner meanings, and this is the way that we follow the liturgical calendar of the temple.
So are you saying that from Hare Panchami festival
we can learn
the
something?
householders can learn how to fight with each other?
No, they can learn how to make up from the fight. Yeah, because there'll always be a fight. There'll always be some fight. There has to be. When you put two people together and there's going to be some difference of opinion at some point, right? Anybody who doesn't have a relationship like that, you can please see me later and tell me your secret. Okay? So the Lord also understands this, and He shows us through the festivals. But mainly we're interested in Brahmotsavam today. So Brahmotsavam is like that. Now, so I just wanted to say about Brahmotsavam. Brahmotsavam is not the only festival. Brahma was the first created being, and therefore Brahma is the most important. He's the creator in this universe. And therefore the Brahmotsavam is considered the first festival of this particular temple, and it is the birthday of this temple, and it is the primary festival of this temple. Whereas these other festivals like Radhastami, Janmastami, all these other things have to be also celebrated in the temple. Prabhupada was very, very adamant that maybe you have some deity in your house, maybe you're worshipping separately or something like that, but you should all come together congregationally and you should worship the Lord in the temple, and these festivals are a chance not only to worship the Lord together, but also for association of devotees, which is so important. So, we can go on forever talking about Brahmotsavams and things like that, but devotional service has to go on. So I wanted to also say a little bit about the mantras which were described. So we have the Narasimha Tapani, Purva Tapani Upanishad, and there's a Uttara Tapani Upanishad also. There are two Upanishads, and there are some other Upanishads which mention Lord Narasimha too. There are many, many forms of Lord Narasimha. If we see some other deities like Lord Krishna, Lord Rama, so many other deities like that, there are very few forms. They have certain forms described in scripture, but the forms of Narasimha, there are so many. So many different arms, so many different heads, so many different postures, so many different attitudes. Right, so there are many, many different, just as we saw Dhruva gave us a glimpse, there are many, many different temples, and you'd be surprised every time you go to a Narasimha temple, oh, it's a different form like that. So there's many, many forms like that. For each form, there is a dhyana mantra, there's a meditation on that particular form, so that we can meditate upon that particular form. So if you have a deity with 4 arms, if you have a deity with 16 arms, if you have a deity with 32 arms, there'll be a mantra, there'll be a nice verse so that you can meditate upon that Lord before worshipping Him like that. Similarly, there are so many mantras, starting from one-syllable mantra, Shrom, Bij. Bij, what is Bij? Bij means a seed. The seed of Narasimha is Shrom. Shrom is actually a combination, it's a samyukta varna, what we call samyukta varna. It's two letters coming together, but those two letters, when they come together, are so important that they are sometimes considered a letter by themselves in Sanskrit. So sometimes, if you ask people how many letters are there in the Sanskrit alphabet, you'll get different answers, because somebody will finish at ha, and somebody will go sha, tra, ya. There'll be some other letters that they'll add like that. So this is a combined letter of K and the S with the dot under it, which is a cerebral S. And then R, and then AUM. And as Maharaj, we heard in another class, you were saying how in the Shastra sometimes it's given secret form. So if anybody wants to know the secret form of the mantra, of Kshrom Bij, there's a sloka. And the translation of the sloka you will not be able to understand without the Acharya telling you the meaning of each thing, like that. And also the Kshrom Bij, I've given a little bit of an explanation. Amara Prabhu has it, like that. I don't think he's ready to reveal it yet, but like that. But it also about this Kshrom Bij. So normally in mantra shastra, the mantra is equal to the deity. The mantra is equal to the deity. So if you find these mantras to be very long and difficult to remember, you can simply remember the seed mantra. So just like a seed, the seed mantra is just like a seed. If you put it in the ground and you water it, it will become a plant. But it is the smallest potent form of a mantra. It is one syllable. And here we have different seed mantras. We have the Kshrom Bija. Kshrom Bija in Sanskrit is also called Kopa Bija. It is the angry Bija. It's the anger. Then we have for Lakshmi, we have the Shreem Bij. Shreem Bij is there are many explanations of what the word Shri means, where it comes from. We can't go into it, it's too long. But it is for Lakshmi. And then, when I came at that time, I had never thought of that there is going to be such a deity. And Prahlad Maharaj is there. There has to be a bija, there has to be a seed for Prahlad. There has to be a seed for Prahlad. So I was thinking in the Shastra, what does it say? In Hari Bhakti Vilas, there's a pramana, there's a proof in there. It says, if you have no mantra that you know, because normally we should take a mantra from an authorized place, we should get mantra in Guru Parampara, we should get mantra from Shastra, like that. So, where is the mantra for Prahlad in Shastra? Where is the Bija mantra for Prahlad? I was thinking. So then I looked in Hari Bhakti Vilas, it says, if you don't find it, you have to take the first syllable of the name, and you have to add the Anuswara, which is the nasal, pure nasal. Some people say some people say and then that will be the Bija mantra. And then add to that the name of the deity in the dative case, Chaturthi Vibhakti, Ekavachanam, singular, and then Namaha. Namaha means what? Namaha means ma, not me, ma. When I say mama in Sanskrit, it means me. Ma, not me, you. Respects not to me, but to you. Namaha. You know how people say namaste? Namaha, te, becomes man namaste with Sanskrit sandhi. Namaha, not to me, to you. Namaste. So namaha means like that, respects. So, Prahladaya is the dative case of Prahlad. And we take pra, and add Anushwara, it becomes pram. Or as Swamiji likes to say, prang, right? Prang. Sometimes you find in North India and especially in the Bengal region, the Anushwara will be pronounced like That's why you hear people say singha, right? Some people in South, sometimes say simha. So either way, no problem. No problem like that. So pram prahladaya namaha. Pram prahladaya namaha. This will be the mula mantra. From the seed comes the root. When the seed grows, the plant makes a root. The root mantra comes from the seed mantra. So first in Mantra Shastra, the first thing to learn is the seed. Next, learn what is the seed for Krishna? Who knows? Swamiji knows. The Kleem. There's so much we can talk about Kleem. So sometimes you'll hear the pujaris, Shreem, Reem, Kleem. They'll be doing so many things. Om, like this. So this is the first. So you start out, don't start with the long mantras, please. There are 1,000-syllable Narasimha mantras. Don't start with that. It'll be very difficult. You make a mistake, you have to go back to the beginning. Start with one syllable at a time. Right? Shrom, 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 shreem, 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 pram, pram, pram. Like this. Then work to the mula mantra, the root mantras. Pram, prahladaya namaha, shreem, shriye namaha. Right? Shrom, narasimhaya namaha, like that. And then, if you get really fancy and you learn a little bit of Sanskrit or you talk to the pujaris, they combine them. Right? Shreem, Shrom, Lakshmi Narasimha, Bhyam Namaha. Lakshmi and Narasimha. Then we want to add Prahlad also. Or we can say Pram Shrom, Prahlad Narasimha, Bhyam Namaha. Or if we want all three of them together, we say Pram, Shreem, Shrom, Prahlad, Lakshmi Narasimha, Bhyo Namaha. Right? We have to know the proper way to put them together in Sanskrit, right? Simple Sanskrit. And then we can combine them all the worship of all three, like that. So this is a mula mantra. After that, we get longer mantras. We get Gayatri mantras. We get Anustup mantras, right? Gayatri mantra is 24 syllables. Anustup mantra, 32 syllables. Then we get 108 syllables. These are called mala mantras. Everybody has a mala, has 108 beads. So the mala mantras have 108 syllables. After that, we get 1,008 syllables. We get so many syllables, like that. And we have to learn how to wear the syllables, how to immerse ourselves in the mantra. We should meditate on the meaning of the mantra when we use the mantra, because mantra is not just parrot that we say it, and we say it, while we're driving. We say it, but we have to watch the road. No, we say it, but we have to say it with intention. So the dhyana mantra, there's a dhyana mantra to get us in the right mood. And then there are all sorts of, you see the pujaris, they do all the sorts of nyasas. Because we cannot touch the deity. We are not pure enough to touch the deity. Only the deity can touch himself. So we cover our hands with the deity's mantra. We cover our bodies with the deity's mantra. Then we are wearing the armor of Narasimha and we can touch him. Because he only touches himself. Here he is sitting on himself. Underneath this deity is a yantra, this two-dimensional deity, two-dimensional yantra of Narasimha. So Narasimha sits on Narasimha because there's nothing more pure than Narasimha, and he must sit on the purest thing, so he has to sit on himself, like that. So all of these things are found in Mantra Shastra, and Swamijis are here to guide you in the Mantra Shastra, especially about Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. There's so much to know. Like that. At the same time, it is very, very simple for the simple. Don't go out from here and think, I have to do all these things. Swami said, no, right? Because there are no rules and regulations for chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, right? Idi Sodasakam Namnam Kalikalma. In the Kalishantaranya Upanishad, it says, this is the easiest way. The easiest way, really easiest way. So there are many, if you want to follow all the rules and regulations and do things, you can do that. And of course you should try to avoid all offenses and everything like that. But even if you don't, it's going to work. It'll work, don't worry. Don't worry. Because what does Lord Krishna say? Lord Krishna says, Sarva dharman parityaja, right? Maham ekam sharanam bhaja. So he says, give up everything and just surrender to me. Right? I'll protect you, don't worry. Lord Narasimha is saying the same thing. I'll protect you. Right? That's what he's done with Prahlad. And if the Supreme Lord will take time out from his eternal leelas to protect one little boy, he will certainly protect us. He will certainly protect us. He'll protect us. Right? So, Maham ekam sharanam bhaja. We surrender unto him, he'll protect us. Right? Sarvam Pichana, Mamikam Sharanam. Aham tva sarva papebhyo. I'll purify you. You're all sinful. You'll be purified. All your sins will fly away. Right? Sarva papebhyo. Moksha yishyami. Moksha yishyami. I will grant you liberation. You will go back to Godhead. No doubt is what he's saying. No doubt. In the future, it's a future tense. He's not saying I'm doing it right now for you. right? Still you have a lot of devotional service to do. But he's saying, I promise, right? Maharaj also gave Rama's promise. Krishna has made a promise. Rama has made a promise. Narasimha has made a promise. They're all making these promises, right? You will go back to Godhead. You will go back to Godhead. And what does he finish off? He says, Mahasuchaha, Mahasuchaha. What does it mean? Don't worry. Don't worry. Be happy, right? Yes, this is a song, but it's a copyright infringement from the Lord because he is the one who first said it. He is the one who first said it, right? Somewhere maybe we should sue, I don't know. But the point is that sometimes we worry, oh, this is so difficult devotional service, but it can be so easy. So don't go for the difficult mantras. Don't go for the difficult pujas. Don't go for the, later on, if you want to do those things, that's fine. There'll be people around to show you. There's always somebody who wants to do the difficult way, right? Prabhupada said you can touch your nose like this or you can touch your nose like this, right? So there's always somebody who wants to do it like this, right? Just to show you that he can do it, right? But it's not necessary. We can do everything the easy way. That is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did. He came and gave the easy way. So let's take advantage of the easy way. Lord Narasimha is here for the easy way. So although we've heard of all these wonderful mantras like Ugram Viram and Abhishta, Abhaya, Bhuishta, Om, Shom, right? There's some techniques for these. Start off with easy. Hare Krishna Maha Mantra is the easiest. All right? No rules and regulations. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. See, I should have just started with that and that would have been everything. Right. Thank you, Swami.
So, Hare Krishna, thank you so much. Really, we learned so much. I saw even your notepad was becoming filled with notes. Yes. I'm now looking a little bit at the time. Somehow it's, breakfast is also there. And I see our one Swamiji getting restless. Okay. Then let us do like this. Let us complete here the lecture by lovingly calling out. Because we have a full program still coming. So lovingly calling out, Sina Singadeva ki jai, Sina Singadeva ki, Sina Singadeva ki jai, go Premanandi, Hare Hare Bo, Hare Krishna. So please take your breakfast prasadam. And if Govinda is here, is he here? No? You can observe the rest of the program. There must be outside of the temple room a schedule, so you can, if you want to look there.
Sakrideva Prapannaya, Devasmiti Chayajite, Abhayam Sarvabhutebhyo, Dadamyetan Ram Mama. Yeah.
There is a special way to